Think the city has not quite seen before. We speak on this with Loic Ekinga, co-founder and head of programming. We also have Kerry Bradshaw, the co-founder and head of emotions. And you're welcome. Thank you for coming, Loic. Thank you for coming, Kerry.
Thank you for your time.
Yes, so After Sun, you are looking at not competing with big cinemas, but creating and redefining. So for you as a person and Kerry as well, how were you able to actually sit and say, I feel there is a gap here, there is a hunger that we need to feed through this After Sun project?
The easiest way for us was to watch the numbers grow. We started with 12 people.
Yeah, 12 people in my living room.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, we invited 12 friends and we said, guys, this is a concept we want to try out. And what we do is that we don't tell you which movie you're going to watch. And so because we figured if we tell people this is what we're going to watch, you get to Google the movie and be like, this is not for me. And that also is a way to educate people in I don't want to use the word educate, but when you sit with a movie that you've never watched, you did not anticipate, sit through 2 hours of it, and you realize that it's brought up things for you and you've learned so much, you really enjoyed it. It changes the perspective on film and what's possible. But also, so we watch the numbers grow. We started with 12 people, and a friend invites a friend, and a friend invites a friend, and now we're looking at over 300 club members who come and go. We just come together and watch movies together. So it's, again, that's what's emboldened us to go mainstream and make this a cinema.
Just a simple question here. How did you find your tribe or the people to watch in your living room? You mentioned your living room, Kerry.
Yeah.
How did you find that tribe from 12 to the number that he's pointing out now?
Yeah, so to start with, it was just our close friends and family. We just invited over to watch a movie like anyone does. But the bit that was new that Loic really brought to what we were doing was the conversation after the movie. Because anybody can watch a movie with their friends at home.
Yeah.
But yeah, that conversation afterwards was kind of a USP for what we're doing. And then friends just told friends. We just had a broadcast list on WhatsApp. It wasn't anything like crazy promotion. But yeah, it was all word of mouth. And we would just do one every month. And every month we'd like get 20 new people. And that's when we had to start finding bigger places. And that's where we came to finding a permanent home for the cinema.
After Sun, what really, motivated you to call that After Sun? It's a very intriguing name, but also nice. I see it on your shirt there.
Yeah.
Do you want to answer the question?
So one of Loic's favorite movies is called After Sun, a Paul Mescal father-daughter story. And we usually press play on the movie at 7 p.m. after the sun has set.
Yeah.
So it fit in with that as well. So, yeah.
Amazing. So look, your first screening is Antares, Memories of a Love Returned. What does that film say about the kind of stories you want to champion? You also talk about curated experiences. How do you design a night so it lingers with somebody when this movie experience is long gone?
So speaking of Darius' movie, archiving and remembering and memory is at the core of his work, of this specific film. And for me, that says it's a human story. It's a person sitting at the cinema and basically see their family through the screen and their own life and their own expectations and their own ambitions, etc. The movies that we pick are really about the people seeing themselves. And what's surprising, and I think I would also appreciate it if I were to be in the audience, is we bring stories from around the world, and you realize that we are bringing stories from, let's say, from Palestine, but what's going on in that part of the world, in that family, in that film, is a lot closer to what's happening in your home here in Kampala. You don't realize that people have a very global experience, a very shared experience, until you watch movies from around the world. And so what we curate is for people to be able to see themselves through different lenses, a different perspective. And again, that goes back to the conversation, because when you see that and have a conversation, that's when you hear that Viola's experience is very close to your own. And that you got to realize that because you came together and you watched a movie about something you didn't think was close to home. So, yeah.
Brilliant. Kerry, from time to time, I get to watch movies, as he's actually saying, and I feel I can resonate. I just say, how possible is it that we have a similar experience, and this person is from, say, South Africa, or you could say, Washington or anywhere? So I just have a question about how you pick the movies. Who gets to pick the two of you? Or what motivates you to pick a certain movie over another one?
Yeah, so it's a team effort. If I'm on it, Loic probably chooses maybe 70% of the movies.
Why?
Because he's more of a cinephile than me. I'm more of a getting the community together.
Okay.
That's where my expertise and love is, like bringing people together for an experience.
Yes.
But Ntare's movie is one that I pushed for. It's a Ugandan movie. And like you say, totally we can resonate with it. The story starts with him traveling to Masaka. His petrol runs out on the way to Masaka, so he stops on the side of the road. He goes into a photo studio and then forms an unlikely friendship with a guy that runs a photo studio, finds bags and bags of negatives, and decides over the last 20 years to start developing these negatives of this village on the way to Masaka. And the story is so beautiful. I really recommend people to come and watch.
So when you look at the Ugandan film scene, I see that you're positioning Aftersun as a hub, and this is for both of you. What do you see missing that you're trying to correct, if I could use that?
And like I mentioned earlier, there is a gap between making your film and having people see it, because there's a lot of money that goes into that. Making movies quite expensive, and that's just one part of the journey for a Ugandan filmmaker. The other part is, of course, finding a screen for your film. What we've come to see is that a lot of movies that do well in the festival circuit, they will go around the world, around the continent, but in Uganda, it costs quite a lot to have your movie showcased in your own country. And so, because of the size of like I said, there's a Chibandas, and then there is a big metroplexes. There's really nobody in between who can give filmmakers that screen, and that's what we're trying to do. Not only is it cinema in terms of giving the screen, but we also want to have workshops and start conversations about films and bring filmmakers together and find a synergy of sort of how we can grow the Ugandan film industry in small ways, maybe in big ways, but we want to start here.
Kerry, when you talk about creating spaces that are less intimidating, what exactly are you talking about there?
I'm talking about, so a great example is Ntare. He had to self-fund his screening of his movie at Acacia Cinema, sorry. So he had to pay for that massive hall to show his movie himself. There wasn't kind of an industry that was supporting him as a Ugandan filmmaker to show his film, and he had the money to be able to do that, but many young filmmakers cannot afford to hire a 200-seater cinema at Acacia. So we're hoping that our space will be a bit less intimidating, that a filmmaker can come and invite 20, 30 of their friends to give feedback on his film, critical feedback that will help him hone his craft and make his films even better. And then the cafe itself, we were hoping that you could come to Aftersun on any day and you would be guaranteed to meet some creative people there, to be able to network and bounce ideas off and things like that. So we really want people to think of this cinema as their cinema, and we're really open to it kind of shifting and changing depending on what the film industry tell us that they need out of this kind of hub.
And Kerry, we've seen several countries in Africa having better, I would say, film industries or music industries. When you look at Uganda's film industry or the film scene, as compared to a country like Nigeria, what do you think that we still need to do to be able to have such a huge industry that is successful in film?
Yeah, so I think there is a lot that we do, but it's quite sporadic and not joined up. So, for instance, we have a lot of guilds for the different film industry, the Guild of Screenwriters, the Guild of Makeup Artists, everything like that. But there isn't really one place or one hub where all those people feel that they can come together. Like a cultural civic centre. That would be our dream, 10 years' time, to have an even bigger cultural civic centre. A place where they can all come together. And for instance, in Nairobi, there is Unseen Nairobi. It's a really brilliant independent cinema and cafe. and we would like to replicate in our own Ugandan way what they are doing. Yeah.
So, like, would you say this is a launchpad for new Ugandan voices that are emerging in film?
Definitely, most definitely. Because, like I said, we're trying to break barriers in a way. This is our contribution, we feel, to the film industry, that what filmmakers really need outside of production costs, etc., is a screen, is a community, is eyes for their movies, and that's what we're just trying to give for now. But like I said, that's at the lowest level, below the line of what we're trying to do. And like Kerry was saying, we want it to become something much bigger, something that brings filmmakers together. I had a conversation not so long ago about distribution in Uganda, how there isn't really distribution companies in Uganda, because when a distributor gets a film from Europe or from around the world, they still need screens because they pay for the rights for that movie, and they need screens where they can get that money back. And there isn't really screens in Uganda to help them. So even the distribution business in Uganda is lagging because there is no infrastructure or places to allow for those to thrive. So this is us throwing our hat in the ring, and just like this is what we want to do. Hopefully we can inspire a few other people to also follow us on this journey and also start their own independent cinema so we can work together.
So the 1 month pop-up in Chambogo, are you just quietly starting a movement, or is this a one-off? Is it a one-time thing?
The dream is much bigger. The pop-up is, as for myself, it's a proof of concept. We want to show Uganda and the world and the continent that there is a demand for it. This can work. If you really want it to happen, if you have a love for art and for cinema, you can bring people together. We have an amazing team of volunteers that have helped us. We just shared the idea with them. This is the dream, and then they just came on board and helping us in different things to make it happen. It shows the hunger that people have for something new, something that is possible. So the pop-up for us is we have a month to show the world that Uganda has the capacity of making this happen, and there is a market, that there is an audience, and then from then on, we can dream bigger and take it further.
Kerry, what would you say to a filmmaker that is watching us this morning and is a bit anxious about, the market or the film industry as a whole in Uganda? What are your observations? What should they know, and what can they look out for as they head there?
I would encourage them to come to AfterSun. So we'll be open for the whole of May, from May 1st to May 31st. Just come on down and meet a lot of the volunteers that Loic was talking about. We have 30 volunteers that are helping make this happen, and over 294 people have given to our crowdfunder to be able to. So our community is so strong and so loyal. So if a filmmaker were to come to AfterSun, I guarantee they will already know like 20 people that are already in the community. And we want to hear from them. We want to hear what they actually want from this kind of space. Attend some of our workshops, attend some of the screenings. Think of your own event on Sundays at 2 p.m. We're going to have a mixtape event where any filmmakers can come with their USBs, and we just screen their short movies. If they want feedback on that, critical feedback, great. If not, it's fine. And we also want to facilitate roundtable, like writers' roundtables, read-throughs of scripts, actors' workshops. So there really is so much for a young filmmaker to engage with in AfterSun.
Well done. I really like it. And we are coming to the end of our conversation. So, Loic, I'll ask you to, in just a couple of seconds, say your last remarks about all of this. And I'm very happy that it's happening in my birth month. I hope you can gift me on May 31st. Yeah, that will be my birthday. So I really wish you luck in this whole month. So, Loic, your last remarks as we go.
So we'll be open, like Kerry said, from the 1st to the 31st of May in Chambogo. If you want any more information on it, AfterSunCinema.com is available, and also AfterSun.cinema on Instagram. Just follow our journey. We've been doing very nice videos about how we build, because we're building the space on our own, putting the soundproofing with our volunteers. So if you want to follow the journey, if you want to be part of it as well, just reach out to us. And but most importantly, between the 1st and the 31st of May. Come to Travel, go watch a movie, make friends, have nice food.
Okay, thank you. Kerry, any last words in just 2 seconds?
If you like laughing and crying and making new friends, this is the place for you. Come and have an experience. Get out, get off your sofa, and come to Aftersun.
Amazing. Okay, so that is Kerry Bradshaw, co-founder and head of emotions at Aftersun, and this is Loic Ekinga, co-founder and head of programming at Aftersun. They are into Uganda's film industry and trying to change it and give you a more intimate experience, and they joined us here on Morning at NTV. We take a quick break, but do stay with us. We return with more.
Woo!